Hey John,
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Wow, this is exciting. I bet you hear this a lot, but I see all the time on Chicago Fire.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, my wife and I watch it all the time. We actually just watched it the other day, and you were in the episode. You're one of those people that like, oh, I've been watching this all the time. I never thought I would be talking to you right now, but here we are.
That's so cool. Well, thanks for watching. That's awesome.
Yes. So let's talk about the movie Assassin. How cool is this? I mean, kind of bittersweet. This is officially Bruce Willis's last movie, if you think about it. How was it to be in this movie?
Oh my gosh. I mean, what an honor, right? I feel
Yeah,
like being part of his legacy is like something as an actor you only dream of. And he
right.
is the like badass of all badasses. So,
Yep.
and this movie is pretty badass. So I
Yes.
I really loved it. I read the script and I was like, I am in. Plus, I don't get to do a lot of action. So I
Hmm.
wanted to challenge myself with, yeah, kicking some butt.
Right. So let's talk about that. So how was it? Because like you said, you don't normally do action. Like on Chicago Fire, you're just basically walking around investigating fires and stuff like that. So
Not to
here, whole different. So how was it like, taking that plunge and doing the action sequences?
Oh my gosh, so much fun.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a stunt choreographer, a stunt coordinator, and obviously I had a stunt woman, but I did get to, like go through the motions and there are moments where it is me.
Mhm. Right.
Some of the more intense things, not so much, but
Exactly.
um, there's a moment where like I jump on Dominic's back and I'm like choking him out. And for a second I got scared, which was I'm tiny. Like Dominic Purcell is like he's a big guy. Like
Right.
there was no way I'm ever gonna hurt him. But but I was so scared to like choke him, and he's like, "Go for it. It's fine. Don't worry." So moments like that are really fun and memories that I'll cherish. But it was great just getting to exercise a bit of that physicality, and it made me want to do more. So I'm jonesing for some more action.
Right. So yeah, you just mentioned Dominic Purcell, who I also love. How was it working with him? Like he's a pro with the action. He's done it before. So did he give you any tips or any like, hey, like offset and stuff like that, like to do?
Yeah, I mean, he was really encouraging, super supportive. He's a very giving actor to play opposite and
Mm-hmm.
so trusting there, especially in those action sequences where he just was like, don't be afraid of hurting me. You can't.
Right.
We've choreographed this thing to, the heavens. So don't worry about that. And he's like, just have fun with it. And even if something goes wrong, just keep going. Like it's totally fine. So there was that innate trust that he gave me, and I was like, oh, okay, great. Like we're here, we're in this together. So
That's
um
cool.
yeah, he's such a pro, and but he is a very intense guy. And I will say, like, I watched him in Prison Break, so I
Right.
never thought I'd get to work with him. And so, and I never even told him this, but I was kind of fangirling a little bit.
Right.
I was like, oh my God, oh my God, this is so good. This is so weird. It was awesome.
Well, that's how I am. Like, like I watch these people like yourself, and then I'm talking to him. I'm like, like just a funny, real quick story. Like I talked to Dolph Lundgren one time, and he's one guy I never thought I'd talk to. And
Wow.
he's on the phone. He's like, "Hey, John, how you doing?" I'm like, "Oh my God, he knows my name." I'm like, it's like stupid stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
So let's talk about the movie itself. So the thought of putting chips in somebody, assassins, so they can inhabit other bodies. Talk about your character, and how it pertains to the story, because you're a pretty big part of the story, obviously. So it's kind of built on your shoulders to a
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, I think, what's pretty cool is Namzamo's and I's characters, we're
Hmm.
like two sides of the same coin.
Exactly.
And what was fun for me is, my character Molly is this artist. She's very serious about her work,
Right.
and has her own agenda of like what her life looks like. But then when she's taken over, I think with the tech, and what's so interesting about it is like the psychological elements of it, where you don't quite lose yourself.
Mhm.
Like there's still aspects of Molly and the way that she exists, yet, when she's taken over, it's like, well, what happens to her body? And those were conversations that, Jesse Atlas, the director, and one of the writers, that we would talk about, is like, well, what does that look like? Obviously, we don't want it to be robotic. We don't want it to feel like she's a completely different person, but there has to be like certain shifts. And that part, that nuance, was really fun for me as an actor.
So exactly. So like now basically it's kind of like you're playing, you said two sides of the same coin. Like what was it challenging to be like Molly and then, like in terms of acting, did you have to do anything ahead of time, or was it just like, you just flip a switch, when you had to do one or the other?
I think the challenging part was finding the nuance, and I think, Jesse really helped with that, as well as Nomzamo, like watching her like ticks, like if
Yeah,
there
did
was
you see her mannerisms and try to like duplicate what you could, like, when you're doing it?
exactly, yeah, like getting to see some of playback from some of the previous scenes that she had done. That really helped when we were filming the same scenes but separately, on different days. I got to see like, okay, what did she do? Okay, got it. And really embodying that. But honestly, I mean, I think that was one of the reasons that helped me in getting the role. When I spoke to Jesse about it way in the beginning, was what had, I guess, attracted him to have me play this character, was my work in Upload, where I do get to take over people's bodies and they take over my avatar,
Right.
in that show.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same sandbox, or I guess playground, different sandbox. And so in that sense, I was kind of familiar with like finding these moments. The challenge is more so just like, okay, which ones? What am I really pinpointing here?
Right. So, like, so getting involved with the project, was it just a matter of a script that was given to you, or was it like something they had, thought about you all along? So,
Yeah, so Jesse had seen my work on Upload.
yeah. So he saw that and said, "Hey, I want Andy for this role."
Yeah, and then we had a conversation. They sent me the script, which I
Right.
loved, and I was like, oh, this is so interesting. And kind of going back to what I was saying earlier about the action part, where I was like, ooh, I don't get to do this a lot. And I was like, yeah, like I'm so in. Plus, having such an amazing cast as attached, I was like, I'm all the way in.
Now, did you get to like with Bruce Willis, like him on set? Like, obviously, he's only on set certain parts, or for certain lengths of time. Did you get to like hang out at all? Did you get any, did you get to talk to him and be like, hey, I loved you in this movie, or something like that?
I didn't, and I wish
Oh,
I
okay.
did.
Uh,
Like, yeah, I mean, he's a legend. They're
right.
they're not gonna be like, and
Well,
I
that's
have,
what I thought. Like maybe he was like in his trailer, because obviously we know what's happening with him now and stuff like that, which is sad. But I just didn't know like if he was like out or if he talked to anybody or any of it. Because I've talked to other people like directors that have worked with him and stuff like that and gotten certain stories and stuff like that.
yeah, Nomzamo had majority of the scenes with him.
Right. Exactly. She
Um,
did. Yeah.
and so my experience, we were on set together once. Um,
Right.
and
Okay.
that was like incredible. Like this man has such like presence. When he walked on set, like he is the iconic guy of like action, these kinds of films.
Right.
So to be in the presence of that was such an honor. And I like, okay, I was like, ooh, I need to watch what he's doing just a little bit, because he has such a command and also a stillness that
Hmm.
as soon as he says something, you're like, okay, I'm here. I'm like, I need to take notes while I'm here trying to act with you for 2 seconds.
Right.
So in that brief moment, like it was such a dream. Those are only moments that you dream of as an actor. And to be a part of his legacy is like
Right.
God, incredible.
Like I said, it's bittersweet because, like I said, this is it. That was like when I got the email, the PR email for it. I kind of got sad. I was like, oh, I know this is his last movie, So I'm like typing it up and everything, and so then I watched it, and I even got. I don't want to sound like a wussy, but I was like, I even got more sad because I'm like, that's it. I'm like, what do we do now?
Aw,
It's like
he's given us so much. Don't be greedy, John.
I know. So now she got, like you said, you mentioned you got bit by the action bug. So now this is definitely something you're going to want to invest in the future. We're going to see, because I envision you like let's because I like watching you do this role because it was funny because like I seen you, like I said, I see you all the time on Chicago Fire, and you got it's such a different role for what you were doing here, but it's like I think if you like it, you in type of like a Matrix role or something like that, like doing something like they were doing, something like that. That's what I envision, So what are your thoughts on like anything that you would want to do in the future?
I'm like, tell me more. Yes. Hold on. What?
It's like, here, you can send my check to,
Let me. Yes, I absolutely. I'm really excited to do more action, and I always want to challenge myself as an actor. I don't want to. I get stuck doing the same thing, and I think as
do you want to just hit all genres? Do you like just want to do you want to do comedy? I mean, like you said, I mean your IMDb profile, that's like I said in terms of action, obviously, but it's more like dramatic stuff. But like, do you want to like hit everything? Do you want to like put a notch in in your belt with all the genres?
Yeah, and I feel like I kind of am. I mean, that's kind of what my career's seeming to be crafting or, developing like of, Upload, which is on Amazon, is more of a comedy.
Yeah, that's true because I've
like,
checked that out. Yes,
yeah,
yes,
even though it's, it's still the sci-fi world and
it's not as serious as this movie is.
oh yeah, no, not at all. Not at all. Now getting to do action. I think it'd be fun doing some sort of thriller or a horror. Um, just as an artist, just to play, because why
Yeah.
not?
How fun is that, right? And it's like so real quick, I only got a few more minutes here. I got to ask you about Chicago Fire because like I'm such a fan. I've been watching it since day uno. And how fun is that? Like, is it as fun? Because we're so invested in the characters because it's been on so long. Is it as fun to be on the set as me watching it? It looks like.
Yes. Um, because they've been, like, I guess season 11 now, so it's 11 years.
Right.
They are such a family, and the great
How
thing,
was it coming into that family? Like, you came in later, obviously.
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
I came in season 8, and that's what I
Yeah.
was going to say is like with family, listen, you can either fit in or it doesn't, and and if you don't, it's not going to be great. You're not going to last very long. So thankfully, for me, I instantly got welcomed in. I felt like one of the like OG people right away.
Cool.
The crew, the cast, like, they just gel, and there's a shorthand. It feels like family in that way because you're throwing jabs, you're joking. It's always fun. It's light, and it's very supportive. I got to also talk to the writers and directors of the show, because that's something I'm working on as well. So it's like they're so supportive of their artists. So it's exciting just to be a part of that legacy.
Right.
Like,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And I'm a big fan of Taylor Kinney too, and you've worked a lot with him. Is he super cool? He's one I always want to talk to, So if you ever see him again, be like, hey, there's this guy named Johnny, does ActionFlix.com. He'd love to talk to you.
I know, right? Honestly, he'd probably be down because he's so friendly. Like any people who, like, whenever we're on set, if there is anyone who like happens to be there or wants to chat, he's the most like welcoming and friendly guy. Like he'll chat your ear off, honestly.
That's awesome. Well, Andy, I can't say how much of an honor this was. Like I said, it's so weird that, you know, we watched you and then here I am talking. Like I said, you're just one of those people I never thought I would get an opportunity to chat with. And, you know, this has been so cool. So hopefully maybe in the future, if you do some more action, we'll be chatting again or something. I do an action website. So if you do a comedy, I'm probably not going to be one of the people they approach to. But if you do more of these types of movies, I'll probably be right there. So maybe in the future, we'll get to chat again.
That sounds great. I love that.
Continued success to you with Chicago Fire and everything, and just have fun and just, you know, just kick ass. That's all I gotta say.
Well, thanks so much. Well, tell your wife I said hi.
I will. It would be funny. I'd be like, she says hi, and then now that we watch her, I'll be like, I talked to her. You know, it's like, yeah. So that's so cool. Yeah. All right. Well, you have a wonderful afternoon and enjoy everything. And like I said, it just, you know, just have fun with it, and maybe we'll talk again in the future. Okay.
Deal. Sounds good.
All right. Have a good one.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.